Hi everyone, this is AJ. Welcome back. Now today I'm going to be looking at the DC live action movie collection that I own. Yes, obviously this is a part 2. Part 1 was a week ago, which looked at all of my animated DC collection, and prior to that I did do a 2-part series looking at my entire collection of Marvel animation and live action films. So this kind of ties in with that. So let's get into it. Part 2 of my DC collection. So before we start getting into these movies and that and TV, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. The subscribe button is just down below. I'd very much appreciate it if you just take a second right now, take a second just to press that button. Do me a favour. The channel is young, and I'm growing it from the ground up. Yes, so I've laid a foundation. Now I'm going to start building upon that. So if you'd like to leave me a comment at the end, please do so. I do reply to all comments, and also click the notification bell so you keep up to date with all of my upcoming content. Yes, so let's dive into this. My DC collection of films and TV. Yeah, and at the end, yeah, we'll see what's coming next. So, first off from DC and from 88 films, I have Swamp Thing. First Swamp Thing movie, I haven't seen it in a long, long time. Directed by Wes Craven, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. Yeah. So that's the Swamp Thing. Now Swamp Thing did have a sequel in Swamp Thing 2, starring Heather Locklear. There she is. Yeah, there was also a TV series to this. I don't have the TV series. I'm not talking about the new TV series, I'm talking about the old TV series, much like this. Not the one that was on HBO Max. The one around this sort of time. Early 80s. This is the return of the Swamp Thing anyway. So, nice green box, lime green box. Yeah, nice release. Now, I'm a big comic book fan, so I do pretty much pick up any comic book related movie. Next up, we have, in another nice lime green case, the Ryan Reynolds disaster. That was Green Lantern. Is it that bad? Maybe it's time to have a revisit and see if it is actually as bad as what people say. I can't really remember it very well. I got caught up in the roller coaster of negativity that was the Green Lantern. Yeah, didn't go anywhere. Now, probably the greatest Superman movie ever made. Superman the movie. Yes, this was the film that kickstarted it all off. Christopher Reeve. The first time a comic book was serious in film. You know, they took the character seriously. They took the subject matter seriously. Christopher Reeve was wonderful in the film. Obviously, this film came out in 1978. Gene Hackman starred. Margot Kidder. Yeah, now this version is an import version from the United States. It is region free, but it does have the special edition on it, and it does have the 3-hour long TV version. Yeah, which has got differences, stuff in it that was omitted from the other versions. Obviously, John Williams done the music. Classic theme, a recognisable theme that everyone recognises. A classic character. Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the film, the whole opening on Krypton and him growing up in Smallville. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff. Lovely, filmed. Richard Donner directed, filmed in a lovely way, lovely shots, sweeping shots of the cornfields of Kansas. Brilliant, brilliant film. Yeah, it's a joy to watch. Even today, all right, some of the effects are getting dated, but it's still a marvellous, marvellous film. So yeah, so next up, I have the Blu-ray Superman Motion Picture Anthology, 1978-2006. This includes Superman the movie, the expanded edition of Superman the movie, Superman 2, Superman 2 the Richard Donner cut, which came much later, Superman 3, Superman 4 and Superman Returns. That's the content. I won't get it out, I won't open it up, you know these films. Nice box, could have been sturdier, but yeah, it's a bit of embossing on the front there. What can I say? Obviously the films did decline in quality as they went on, 3 and 4. Superman 2, some people will argue, is better than Superman the movie. I don't believe that. I believe the first one is the best one. Second one is very good. It was hampered by Richard Donner's firing. And as for Superman Returns, it looks great. You know, the effects are all there, but it's quite a slow story. There's not very much action in it. It's pretty much a remake of the first Superman film. It was actually a like a homage to that, and you know, but it was at a period of time where that version of Superman had become outdated, had grown outdated. That version of Lex Luthor had become outdated. You know, he's still up to, you know, land crime. You know, yeah, it's just, yeah, you know, it's got its moments. The plane sequence is great, but it relied too heavily on what became before. It needed to be its own thing, and was a 20-year too late sequel, essentially. I'm not knocking the performance of Brandon Routh. He was fantastic in it. I'd love to see him again as Superman. But the film just, yeah, you know, there you go. So, next up I do have a Superman the movie on 4K. Lovely box, lovely box. I started watching it. I didn't feel the transfer was very good. I need to actually give it a watch all the way through. It might change after the opening, after the Krypton stuff. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it wasn't the kind of transfer I was looking for. Let's just say that. And after that, we have Helen Slater, Peter O'Toole, and Faye Dunaway in Supergirl. Yes, Supergirl. Now, this is the US version from the Warner Brother Archive collection. The reason I have that is because it also includes a bonus DVD of the rare director's cut of the film. I don't know if it's rare, but there you go. So you do have the international cut and the director's cut, which is a far longer film. Not a very good film. Helen Slater was great in it. The score, the musical score to the film, it is pretty damn good. By Jerry Goldsmith. But the film's just, it loses touch with itself. You know, it makes no sense. Some of the writing, some of the dialogue is god-awful. Why she wanted to become, you know, join a school and all this sort of stuff. You know, she's there to find this, the Omega Hedron and all this sort of thing. And yet she goes and gets a secret identity and enrolls in school. It just makes no sense. But there you go, that's Supergirl the movie. Next up, a bit dusty this one, we have the Batman the movie, Adam West, based upon the 1966 TV series, which we may or may not come to later in the video. We shall see when I get to the TV stuff. Yes, so that's that. Now, I do have all 4 of these on 4K. Batman. 1989's Batman. 1992, Batman Returns. 1995, Batman Forever. And 1997, Batman and Robin. Maybe surprising to some, not my least favourite Batman film. Yeah. I don't know if I really want to go into detail in that now, or if I could do another video revolving around my thoughts on this series of films. I might save that for another time. Tell me if you're interested. I might do a ranking video of all the Batman films. The ranking might surprise you, and my reasoning might surprise you as well. But yes, so Batman's. I'll leave that one there. That's a chat for another day, because it might be a little bit in depth. Obviously, next up we have 2005, Batman Begins. Fantastic film. Loved it. I remember seeing it in the cinema up in London's Leicester Square when it came out. Went with a friend, watched it. It just blew me away. It was a fabulous, fabulous film. I went home all hyped on Batman, and the next day I sat down and I put in Batman, first one, and I couldn't watch it. I had to turn it off because, in comparison, after coming out of the cinema and seeing that and straight away going to that, it seemed god awful. That isn't my opinion now. That was just a moment of I don't know what it was. It was a moment that I had when this was fresh in my mind, and that was the impact it had on me. Next up in 2008, obviously we got The Dark Knight, one of the finest Batman films ever. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker is fantastic. I can watch that film anytime. Christopher Nolan done a fantastic job. And then you had The Dark Knight Rises. That, yeah, it's got its problems, but this wasn't originally conceived as a trilogy. It wasn't. It was only because of the popularity and how well this one done that Warner Brothers were kind of backed into a corner with this film. How can you compete? You know, no matter what came after that, it wasn't going to be as good. And this came after, so it got a lot of flack. Warner Brothers, you know, they knew they couldn't compete with that. So the only thing you could now logically do is give the story a conclusion. Yeah, forget about continuing it beyond the third. Let's conclude it with the third one, because then it caps it off, and only that way will we get away with producing a lesser film. And that's exactly what they done. That's not them saying that. That's me saying that's what they done. That's the talk that was had. That's the thought that was had. I guarantee you, because you know, had they then done a fourth one, you're looking at suicide with the film series. They could not compete, so they had to make an ending. It's the only way to work the trilogy as one big story. So that is the Dark Knight trilogy. Next up, fantastic DC film, one of my favourites of all time, Catwoman. I'm being facetious. I don't know if you can tell that or not. But yeah, so Catwoman, Halle Berry. This is an import, because obviously it wasn't out in this country at that time. And I have a little fan-made film of, well, it's like a trailer for Grayson. I don't know where I got that from. Fan-made film, Grayson. Can't remember it. Don't know what it's like. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so Catwoman, obviously it's not a very good film at all. Sharon Stone stars in it. I'm going to have to rewatch it and review it. Why not? Let's see how it stands up, and if I can find any good within that mess of a film. If you like that idea, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you want me to review that film, watch it, review it, and see if I can find some good. Anyway, next up, the first film in the DCEU. It wasn't the DCEU at this time, it was just a Man of Steel film. Yeah, Henry Cavill, great score. The film's very enjoyable, if not a bit sort of messy. But it's a fine film. It's a fine film. I also have the 4K version. I don't have a steelbook for it. Then we have Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. That's the Ultimate Edition. I'll give you my thoughts on them in a minute when I've looked at this one. Then I have Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice 4K Ultimate Edition, the new one where, you know, with the correct screen ratios like Justice League. Now, again, I'm going to tell you what happened with these films. Man of Steel came out, and Warner Brothers were expecting a huge hit. The film did make money and it made a big return for Warner Brothers. It didn't make what they were expecting, considering what Marvel were creating at the time and all this sort of thing. You know, they had characters, you know, they were delving into characters that were far lesser known than this character, and were producing the same sort of money or more money. As we know, Warner Brothers had never had a plan, right? So after this film, they thought, okay, what can we do next? We can't do another Superman film, because another Superman film is likely to earn less money and we're going to look foolish. So they said, well, Batman's just finished, you know, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Why don't we put Batman into this film? Batman is our money-making ticket. People are going to rush to see the film if Batman's in it. So Batman vs Superman was conceived. Now, I don't have an issue with this film. I love this version of it. It looks great. It works better than what came before. My issue with it is there's too many stories within there. You delve into Frank Miller's Dark Knight. You know, that needed a film of its own. You delve into the death of Superman. That film needed a Justice League film or Justice League two-parter of its own. Imagine if you had a Justice League two-parter. The first one was the build up to the death of Superman, and the second one was the other four Supermen with the Justice League and Kal-El's subsequent return. It would have been fantastic, right? But no, they squeezed it all into one film. So in their minds, they were thinking, well, now let's bring Batman in and do Batman versus Superman. People are going to flock to that. Only they didn't. Not as they were meant to. Yeah, and the film was heavily criticised. And I understand the criticism, I get it. Very dark film, a very dark universe for DC. I don't think people were ready for it. But there you go, it's another story. So, next up, these are in no order, these are just in my shelf order now. I have Justice League in a Mondo Steelbook. I do have the 4K in there. Yeah, Mondo Design Steelbook. Fantastic looking Steelbook. Crappy film. Yeah, very bad film. Obviously, next I do have the 4K Steelbook of Justice League, the Snyder Cut. You knew that was coming. I love this film. I sat down, I've watched it. I've only watched it twice, but in one sitting. On each. I mean, as in one sitting, one time, one sitting, another. How you can edit. You know, sometimes you get stuff like this occur. Not to this, you know, to this scale, but you do get stuff like this occur where another cut of the film comes out. Generally, it's a little bit better, but not fantastic. You know, it improves it slightly. But my God, you're talking about, you know, hot and cold. You're talking about, you know, summer and winter. You're talking, you know what I mean? These are so opposing. You know, you got a film that, you know, that I would probably rate, like, if I rated films, that'd be low in the 10 scale. Then you got a film that's up there at the top, you know, 9, 10 out of 10 sort of thing. It's just, so I do keep that around in my collection because it's interesting to look back on and say, well, that and that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that's the Justice League and the Justice League. Then that leads us into Suicide Squad. Another film with a lot of studio interference. I thought the cast was great. A lot of standout cast members in there. You know, they done great. Will Smith is usually too nice to play a bad guy. You know, it's a bit difficult. But Margot Robbie was fantastic. Jai Courtney, you know, yeah, Christ, I hate Jai Courtney. He's awful, but he's likeable in this. You know, Joe Kinnaman was good. Viola Davis. Yeah, you know, I think Jared Leto was a Joker. He was far better at the end of Justice League Snyder Cut. So yeah, it's not a very good film. It's I don't know. It's just a mess. It's a mess. You know, it's not an interesting story. Skybeam and all that at the end, but there's some moments in it. You know, Margot Robbie's performance is great. But yeah, so there you go. I did have a 4K version of it, and I subsequently sold it because obviously if I was to ever watch this again, it would be the extended cut, and the extended cut wasn't given a 4K release. It was just given a yeah. So you buy the 4K version, you do get the extended cut on it, but on Blu-ray. So why would I buy the 4K version when my go-to copy is only available on Blu-ray? Yeah. So that's that. I do have still a sealed Suicide Squad steelbook. Like so. Rush past that. Next up, we have Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Now this is the German version, as you can see. It hasn't got a reversible slip. The reason I got that is because I preferred the Amaray artwork to it than what we got over here. And then I do have the steelbook, 4K steelbook of the film. I know some people like the film. It wasn't great for me. It wasn't the best. It was. It's funny because in Suicide Squad you have different Harley Quinns. Even though it's Margot Robbie, it feels like a different character in a sense. This is Harley Quinn written by a man. This is Harley Quinn written and directed by a woman. And yeah, even it didn't feel like the same character to me. But there you go. Next up, Wonder Woman. Yeah, Gal Gadot. Is that name in it? It is. Yeah, Gal Gadot, Chris Pine. I enjoyed this film. I thought the World War II stuff was great. I like films set in that era. It is very sort of beat for beat Captain America. The scene where she comes out of the trenches is fabulous, because I've got an interest in that era of history. So it kind of speaks to me in that sense. The third act is a bit of a letdown. It turns into your standard DC CGI mess of an affair. So yeah, but on the whole, it's a very good DC film. Yeah. Then I do have a 3D Amaray version. That was a steelbook. That's the Amaray version. So yeah. And then I have the Titans of Colt Wonder Woman version with a steelbook inside and a badge. I shan't open it up. You can see other videos where these are. Or shall I open it? No, let me open it quick. Take your time, AJ. Take your time. So you get a nice little enamel badge with it of a shield. I wear that daily. And then you have a very simplistic design, but lovely design of a steelbook for it. Yeah, very nice. Let me put that back in to there, and we shall see what comes next. Can you guess what comes next? Of course you can. Steelbook, Wonder Woman 84. Fabulous steelbook. I mean, the colours on it. I think it's a great design. The best steelbook that was done. Gold costume. Yeah, the film was a bit mediocre, shall we say. It wasn't a great film. I think, what's her name, Patty Jenkins was given a tad too much freedom on it. Yeah, she got away with the first one. She hasn't really directed very much prior to that. I know she was an Oscar, very early on Oscar-winning director. One of the films was, I think it was Monster, wasn't it? With Charlize Theron she made, if I'm not mistaken. I may well be, let me know if I am. But I think this film highlighted her weaknesses as a director, as a filmmaker. And to be honest, it made me worry about Rogue Squadron. Yes, we shall see. Next up, Aquaman. Yeah, Jason Momoa. Busy film. There's a lot that goes on in that film. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it, but I thought it was slightly over long, and I thought it was just a lot. There was a lot of travelling, a lot of different scenes in different places. It was a very busy film. I do happen to have the 4K version as well. It looks fantastic in 4K. If I'm showing off my 4K TV or what it can do, this is one of the go-to films, primarily the underwater scenes where they're heading towards the Atlantis, you know, and when they get inside Atlantis, it looks fantastic. It really does. So that's Aquaman. Now, I'm sort of going to jump back a step because I neglected to show this when I spoke about Batman. Yes, the Batman Titans of Cult 4K Batman release. I did rewatch all the Batman films on 4K when I got them. Whoops, that's the badge that came out, which is of a Batarang. And they look fantastic. They really do. But like I said, my opinions on the films may differ to others for certain reasons. But yeah, so that's the Titans of Cult, 1989, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Batman. Sorry, that was a little aside. Back to this. Next up, we have Shazam. Shazam 3D. Yeah, Zachary Levi I used to watch him in Chuck. Great choice, great choice. Very fun film, very small scale story. Not many people actually went to see it. The takings are pretty abysmal, but luckily we are getting a sequel. Yeah, it's a fun film. It was a very fun film. I do have the 4K, but it's not here. I'm not entirely sure where that 4K is. I have to go hunting for it, but I do have a 4K steelbook for it somewhere. Next up, Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, Robert De Niro. Great film, great film. I love the film. Every time I watch it, I love it that much more. It's a fantastic story. It's a fantastic film. It's fantastically shot. It doesn't bore. There's a lot to think about. But contradicting, every time I watch it, I like it less and less as a Joker film. Yeah, it's a very conflicting film for me, and I did find it from the start. On the one hand, it is a fantastic, gorgeous film, and I can watch it over and over again. But is it Joker? I don't think it is. In my mind, it's not. It's just a story of a man with mental health issues and what the system forces him, how it forces him to become when it neglects to help him out and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's a dilemma of a film, but it is a fantastic film. It'd be up there as a really high-rated film for me. Just not necessarily as a Joker film. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, then I do have that version of the Joker, which does contain a 4K steelbook. Now, I have done a video opening of this not long ago, and this does contain the vinyl record, still sealed, poster and stuff like that, which you can see if you check out my other video, and it does contain a steelbook, like so. So I shall leave that one like that, and if you are interested in seeing more on that, just scroll down in my videos about a week or so and you will see it. Now I'm looking for something. And I have another Joker release, which is from Italy. Yeah, now this is another one, 4K version. It's got a bit of bump in it. Again, check out that video up there. You can see the opening. It was about a week and a half ago that video was done, when I managed to get hold of this. Yes. Now, for films, I do have Keanu Reeves in Constantine. Now, this doesn't really feel like a DC film or anything like that. I quibbled about whether I was putting this in this video or within the video that comes next week, which is looking at all the miscellaneous stuff. But Constantine has been brought into the CW verse, so I thought, okay, let's include it within the actual film series. So yeah, Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves, Rachel Weisz is in it, yep, Shia LaBeouf, Tilda Swinton. Yeah, it's a film I haven't watched in a long, long time. Keep meaning to revisit it. I've got no idea what it is like. Okay, then I have the Watchmen director's cut from is this American version? I don't know, because it's got some foreign on the front and side. But anyway, it's director's cut. It's got a lenticular image on the front. Yeah. Then I have the Watchmen Ultimate Edition on 4K. Now, I do enjoy Watchmen. I've read the graphic novel. Obviously, they had to alter stuff in it and that. Did it really bother me? No, not really. I get that they have to alter stuff for film. Some stuff won't translate. They always said that this was impossible to bring to film, but they've done a pretty damn good job with it. Jack Snyder. I think it's a fantastic film. It looks lovely. It's interesting story, well conceived. Yeah, I mean, I don't get hung up on things like, oh, they changed this, they changed that, unless it's, you know what I mean. Yeah, for the most part, it's very, very faithful. Then that brings me on to another one, which I quibbled about where to put it. Jonah Hex. Josh Brolin, John Malkovich, and Megan Fox. Again, I've probably not watched the film since it came out, since I got it. I think it was badly edited, lots was chopped out of it. They tried to turn a high-rated film into a low-rated, accessible film for audiences, and it didn't work. Jonah Hex is a DC character, primarily from their Vertigo range. But again, recently he has popped up in Legends of Tomorrow in a couple of episodes. So I felt the need to maybe include it in this as opposed to my sort of miscellaneous video. So that's Jonah Hex. Hi everyone, took a little break there. Had a little change up behind me, and lo and behold, during that break, I found my 4K Shazam Steelbook. Yeah, so now I'm happy. The transition was meant to become after all the movies, because next I'm going to go into the TV side of things. So bear with me, and I'll be back. Okay, thank you for your patience, and I'm back. So again, if you're still with me and you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button just down below. So I've got more to come, comic book related, next week. But yeah, so carrying on with this DC collection. Now I'm going to venture into the TV stuff that I have. That was all the films. You may want to jump off there. You may want to stick around, because obviously we have the CW, and we have a load of TV series that form part of DC. So first up, I will show this. This is my 1966 Batman collection. You do have a Hot Wheels Batmobile in there. I did do a video the other day where I did look at all my Batmobiles. I neglected to include that one. I was aware that I was leaving it out. I didn't really want to take it out of the box or anything like that, so I left it out of that collection. There was a 1966 Batmobile in that collection, so yeah, why not go check that video out. So yeah, this basically, it opens up. It did have a sound bar in it, but that doesn't work anymore. But it opens up. Got the Batmobile, you got a set of cards there, like trading card type things, and you have each series. You do have a book, episode guide telling you about all the episodes. You have the Adam West scrapbook in there. That's nice, and then you have Burgess Meredith on the front of that one, Riddler on the back, Penguin Season 1, Season 2. They sort of fold open. I know there's a loose disc in here, so I'm holding it very tight, see. Yeah, and Cesar Romero's Joker on front that one. Notice his moustache, he always refused to shave it off, so they had to paint white over his moustache. So yeah, so that's every episode of the 96 Batman TV series, which obviously led to the film that I showed you earlier. Which I could have done in this part, but I consciously left it within the film part. So that's Batman 1966, complete TV series. Jump into a little bit of DVD. Here's The Flash. John Wesley Shipp's version from the 1980s, heavily inspired by, well, this is probably early 90s actually, heavily inspired by 1989's Batman. After Batman came out, hence why the suit is all muscular like it was. To be honest, this show, the suit looked great. I thought the suit looked fabulous. The show was fun. It was dark. Mark Hamill did appear. He reprised the role as the Trickster in the CW. And obviously John Wesley Shipp has played that Flash again, several versions of the Flash within the CW-verse Flash TV series as well. So it was great to have him back. Got fond memories of the season. This series only ran for one season and was ultimately cancelled. Sticking with TV, 1993, or was it 94? 93. We saw the start of Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher. I loved this show. I mean, it had a moonlighting vibe to it. If you don't know what moonlighting is, it was a TV series where Bruce Willis first shot to fame. Him and Sybil Shepherd. Fantastic series. The chemistry between the two leads was very much like that. The support cast in it was fabulous. Yeah, I mean, the effects were a bit, you know, they couldn't do what they do today. But, you know, it was a whole lot of fun. It really was. And then we got season 2. And the show became very, very popular during season 2 and 3. Very popular. They greenlit a season 4 and 5 at the same time. They said, yep, this show is going for another 2 years. Then season 4 hit and the ratings just plummeted. And they ultimately cancelled it at the end of season 4. So you never did get to season 5. It did end with a cliffhanger where they come find a baby and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I think the best season of the show was season 1, always been my favourite. I do revisit it from time to time. It was fantastic. It was great that they kept his parents alive in Smallville. They didn't do the death of his dad, that sort of thing like Superman usually does. So you had this dynamic within it of that you hadn't seen before, and it was wonderful. The two parents, you know, John and Martha Kent, they were a great support cast. Perry White was fantastic. The first Jimmy Olsen, I really enjoyed, but they got rid of him because they said he was too similar in look to Dean Cain. It's if you haven't seen this series, it's silly fun, but it's good. It was good. A lot of fond memories of that. Anyway, so I don't know why this is sat here. I do know, but not really in order. But it's a steelbook for the Watchmen TV series, a one and done series. It wasn't meant to be that way. Just no one really watched it. This doesn't lead on from the actual film. This is more a lead on from the comic book itself, the graphic novel. Of the Watchmen. So that is the Watchmen. Now, I am aware of where I'm at, so I'm gonna. These are in no particular order, so to speak, not in order they've come out. So I have season 1 of Pennyworth in a lovely slipcase that is obviously spot glossed, and season 2. Fantastic show, really enjoy it. It could not be a Alfred Pennyworth show. It could just be named something else and change the characters' names and it'd still work. It'd be fabulous. It looks great. It's visceral. It's, you know, the wardrobe is fantastic in it. The time setting, you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful series. Whether, you know, everyone, oh, Pennyworth, why are you doing a Pennyworth series? But then I started watching it and I thought, bloody hell, this is actually really good. but doesn't need to be Pennyworth. In a series that divided people a lot, and that was Gotham. It's ran for 5 seasons. I do have all 5 seasons. So season 1, season 2, season 3. Annoyingly, season 4 with no slipcase. All the others do. But there you go. And the final season. I had no issue with this. I thought it was a very enjoyable show. I thought it was brave in what it done. I didn't mind the changes that it had in it and the changes to characters, because I took it to be like a Marvel What If. And a DC Elseworlds series. You know, you can have a story of Batman and change up. You know, it was a great series. Pennyworth did actually come after this, so I should really have shown them first. But, you know, great cast. Jim Gordon was fantastic. Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it, and I will one day revisit the show. Next up, from DC's Vertigo, which is an imprint line of comics, more sort of adult orientated, that aren't part of the mainstream DC continuity. I have iZombie. Season 1. Yeah, you do have the Vertigo comic label there. This is one of those ones I hummed and hawed about. Should it go in DC or should it go into the miscellaneous? I ultimately put it into DC because Vertigo is part of DC. Yeah, so iZombie season 2 and iZombie season 3. This ran for 5 seasons. It was quite enjoyable. And then I have season 4 and 5 on Blu-ray. These are bootleg because they stopped at season 3 with releasing them, which was frustrating. I hate it when they do that. So I had to complete the set in that manner. Say what you will. Next up, again, one that I quibbled about, where do I put it? That being Lucifer. Tom Ellis is fantastic in this. He's really watchable. He's so charismatic, so charming as the devil, so funny. You know, this is based on Lucifer from Vertigo Comics as well. The reason I thought I'd include it here, because he did pop up in one episode for a brief moment in the CW verse. So I have to put it here. So that's season 1. Season 2, the Vertigo logo there. Season 3, Australian, that's imported. And from America, imported season 4. Waiting on season 5, and obviously season 6 is coming onto Netflix soon, unless I've missed it already. Yeah, I'm sort of part wondering whether they're not going to be releasing any more of them anywhere. I will might have to complete that series on bootleg. We will have to wait and see what comes of that. Then I have seasons 1 and 2 of Krypton. Yeah, Australian imported from, and this was imported from the United States so that I could get it on Blu-ray. It was a Sci-Fi Channel show. It got a bit more interested in season 2. You had Brainiac in it, you had Doomsday, did have a Zod in it, you had, you know, it was different. Let's leave it there. Now, and then I didn't go beyond this though at the moment, season 1 and 2 of Preacher. Did they stop releasing these on Blu-ray in this country? I think they did. I'm going to have to import them if I want them. Preacher is from, again, a subline of DC Comics, you know, not in the mainstream. But, yeah. So that's why I did put it into the DC, because it essentially is a part of DC. Okay, now for all the stuff that people know. We're venturing into the CW verse, people. So, first up, season 1 of Arrow, Stephen Amell. Season 2 of Arrow, Season 3 of Arrow. Season 4 of Arrow. Season 5. Season 6. Season 7. And the final season, Season 8 on Blu-ray. I'm ashamed to say, but I haven't got beyond halfway through Season 1. Season 2. Sorry, I did get through Season 1. Season 2, I haven't got beyond halfway through. So, I find the darker stuff of the CW verse harder to watch than the lighter stuff. So, that brings me to Season 1 of The Flash. I have watched these. Season 2 of The Flash. Season 3. Season 4. Season 5. And Season 6. I'm up to date on these with the exception of the new series. I haven't got into that. For some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, so then imported from America, Season 1 of Constantine, the TV series with Matt Ryan as the title character. It was cancelled after about 13 episodes, I believe this series is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, 13 episodes. The character was given a reprieve in the late seasons of Legends of Tomorrow. I don't think a lot of people watch Legends of Tomorrow, but I think it's fun. A very fun series. It can do stuff. It's silly. It's become so silly now, but it's really enjoyable with it. That's Season 3. Season 4. And Season 5. I am up to date with this show. I do enjoy it. I think it is a lot of fun. A lot of enjoyable, silly fun. Obviously, Brandon Routh was in it. He played Atom. It was great to see Brandon Routh back in a superhero role. And he did appear as Superman again in the late seasons in a crossover, a multi-part crossover that crossed over through all the series. Which then brings me to Supergirl. Season 1. The programme's got its issues. It has. But it's another one that I'm up to date with because it's the lighter side of the CW, and I find it easier to digest than the darker side. Not that I don't like dark stuff, I just find it visually unimpressive, visually boring. Arrow, I think that was the issue with it. But this it's a rather cheap take on Supergirl. Obviously, that's still sealed this season. That's Season 4, and then I have Season 5 where they changed her costume into a thingy. Currently screening is Season 6, which is the final season for the show, which is unfortunate. But you've got Superman and Lois on now. Although I have noticed a drop in quality in the final season. Special effects have never been great in the CW verse, but in the final season of that, the special effects are dreadful. They are hideous. So we ain't got many more, don't worry. Then I do have Season 1 of Batwoman. I'll spot glossing on that. I'm kind of a completist when it comes to comic book stuff because I'm a massive comic book fan. I haven't got past episode 2. I haven't got past episode 2. I started with Season 2 because I don't really like Ruby Rose as an actress. I think she's hideous. I think she's awful. I think she's talentless. I think Hollywood or whoever needs to stop trying to make her significant. It's not going to happen. She's like a female Jai Courtney. Yeah, so I don't like her. So I did start with Season 2 in the hopes that it would maybe be a bit better now that she's left it. I've got maybe 2 episodes in and sort of, yeah. Then I do have Season 1 of Black Lightning, imported. And Season 2, Black Lightning, again imported, Slickless. I do plan on completing that series, even though I haven't watched 1 episode. Don't tell no one. Not watched 1 episode of that. Because not, I don't know. I'm just a completist. And I don't know, silly. Then I do have Season 1 of Stargirl. this was great. I really enjoyed this show. It was on HBO Max. It was on their series. But with season 2, it's gone to the CW verse. Season 2 has started. I haven't watched any yet. The first 2 episodes have been screened. I intend to watch them. I'm interested to see how the move to CW has affected the show with the possible drop in its budget. Be interesting. Then I have season 1 of Titans, again imported before it came out over here, and season 2 of Titans. We'll get season 3. Then I have season 1 of Doom Patrol and season 2 of Doom Patrol. UK release, the other one was American release. And then I do have the complete series of The Swamp Thing. So that's my final item to show you. Interestingly, I started with Swamp Thing, didn't I? Yeah, I didn't plan that. So the first thing I showed you was the Swamp Thing movie. The last thing I'm showing you is the new Swamp Thing TV series. How's that for bookending something? Fantastic. I didn't plan that. That's just the way it's fallen. It's one of those little things in life that occurs. Yeah. So that's my complete collection of DC. It's not my complete collection of DC stuff, because films like Red and The Losers were actually DC films, and I do have them. But because they're not superhero-y and not mainstream, I've decided to include them in the next video, which is my miscellaneous video. This is where I had a few sort of... Do you know what I mean? So in a week's time, I'm going to be looking at doing another video where I look at all my other comic book related movies that fall outside of Marvel and DC, because they've already been done in videos past, which you can go and check out. So next week, I'm going to be looking at those films that are based on comic books that, you know, just don't sit under even them banners, with the exception of The Losers and Red. But no, let's pretend it don't. It's not DC. They don't mix with the DC characters or any of this sort of stuff. The mainstream DC characters, they're just graphic novels that were produced by DC. And I'm rambling. You don't want me to ramble. You want me to say, come on, AJ, finish this up, wrap it up, get going. So I'm going to wrap this up, right? So if you want to talk to me about my collection or anything in it and that, then please leave me a comment. If you want to be updated about any upcoming content that I'm doing, it's that. But you don't press it here, you press it down there, right? And also, most importantly, subscribe if you're still with me through this video. I know people skim videos, that's what happens. But, and also, if you fancy, give me a thumbs up. So anyway, so this is AJ. I'm going to shoot. I've probably left some stuff out, but there you go. And I shall see you all later. Take care all.